tactics, and 3 or 4 riders there that you wouldn't be surprised if they managed to take the win here. And the man on form, I think, is definitely Carapaz and Ben Healy from what we've seen so far. So I think they'll both be their protected leaders. So they are a team with clear options.
Jumbo getting involved as well now. You've got Formolo on the chase here. Jumbo had their Hungarian national champion. This is Sean Quinn, by the way, for the United States. Formolo following in the black and white. A rider there for DSM, looked like it was Chris Hamilton. Cofidis are in the chase here. Interesting to see whether this continues or calms down. The Jumbo rider, as I said, was their national champion of Hungary, Attila Walter. Just on the climb here. These narrow roads, so easy to be out of sight very, very quickly. But it's interesting that that happened there, Matt, given the fact that the gap was still 4 minutes and 30 seconds at that point.
You do wonder, I mean, certainly, given the situation, we've still got a long way to go. Best part of 50 miles, as you can see, 82 Ks. Whether, I mean, that certainly wouldn't at this stage of the race just been given, because they've got 2 potential winners here, let's be honest, EF Education, Easy Post. They're not going to do anything reckless. I think that's come from the team car. I might be wrong. It's just, all right, we need to try something here. This gap's not coming down enough. Let's be a little bit disruptive. Let's put some of the other teams on the back foot and let's try something. So it's not what I would have expected, but in this day and age, we've come to expect the unexpected in terms of tactics, haven't we? So, it does actually, although it was a surprise, when you think about it, no, it wasn't. Why not start things off a little bit earlier? And they're going again.
They have recent form for this as well. Think back to Luxembourg last week, the days when Ben Healy was up the road. There were several attacks both that day and the couple of days after when he lost the jersey as well. Magnus caught by own admission on his last legs at the end of the season, but giving everything for his team, attacking and attacking and attacking, basically until he couldn't pedal anymore. A couple of other riders tried it as well, but keep your eye there. And Sean Quinn, the only rider from the United States on the United States team today, giving it a very good go. Interesting to see what that does to the breakaway, if anything. Will the message come through, or will the message, if there's a message coming through here, Matt, be just to carry on?
Yeah, I think with the moment they've still got a very comfortable lead as we just safely negotiate that little traffic island with some very welcome padding on it. This group, the gap's still so large that I think they just got to continue riding on as deep as they can, because they've built this lead up. They've got a good chance of staying away pretty deep into this race. As I said before, Attila Walter trying to maybe establish a little bit more control. Trek, or Lidl Trek, also getting involved here. And just step away from what's happening at the front here and just look at this course. Look at what we've seen so far. We've seen the climbs on numerous occasions. We haven't got any 1.5 Ks at 10% stuff to split this up. Because the gradients are only relatively benign on these climbs, although they're repetitious and of course will sap strength, it's relatively easy, or easier, to sit in the wheels. This race has a different sort of feel, so it isn't necessarily going to go down to who's the strongest man here. Clearly you'll need good legs, but look over the last few years at the way this race has finished. Generally a big group, and what you don't want to do is play into the hands of the team with real strength in depth. You don't want to let teams that traditionally control the racing on a course like this control it. Mix it up, start early, get other teams involved, and what you're doing then, you're taking back a little bit of control of the race, opening things up again to race with numbers, and it's good to see, actually, because the last thing you want to do really is play into the hands of the likes of Primož Roglic or indeed Tadej Pogačar. So why not open things up early, cause a little bit of chaos and see what happens, because this race is far more open in terms of possible race winners than, let's say, a Lombardia or even a Giro dell'Emilia. This is the parcours far more hard, grippy, but more open.
Emanuel Buchmann was the latest attacker at the front, the German champion. Looks as though that latest move was brought back, but it's certainly chopped off a good half a minute of the advantage that happened there. There's a little bit of a let-up here. That might invite another attack. We've got Chris Nederlands at the front for Israel Premier Tech. And it looks as though DSM wanted to get interested here. Romain Bardet making sure he's close to the front. Ben Swift on the right-hand side, alongside Ben Turner, who, by the way, was the Ineos rider who'd been monitoring that initial move from Sean Quinn. Most teams were represented in the move, just not everybody happy with the composition of it. We see Esteban Chavez for EF Education, Easy Push moving up. Romain Grégoire, left-hand side. And the gap's just going to grow a little again while we have this nervous, but not exactly big chase on. But having a look at the climb here then, you talked about the gradients. It's 3.8% average, this climb up through Varese, 7.2% maximum. Lasts for 3.1 Ks. Starting at 264 metres above sea level, going up to 382 metres, which in this part of the world isn't too high at all, really.
No. There's still a lot of accumulated elevation, but there's nothing particularly steep. And as you can see, although it's grippy, it's hard, riders will be getting tired, there's still a decent benefit of sitting in the slipstream here.
.5 kilometres remain in the 102nd edition of Tre Valli Varesine. The three valleys of Varese, if you like. And it's to Varese we ride after having started today in Busto Arsizio, just down the road. Home to a lot of industry, Busto Arsizio, a lot of fashion brands are from the region as well. The factories that it's sold down in the very well-to-do city of Milan, just down the road, and around the world. And riders from around the world taking on this race. This is Tobias Bayer, who's from the neighbouring country of Austria. Just on the right-hand side there, 2-2-3. Races for Lotto Destinies, Matthias Paskens. He's a veteran of many breakaways in the Belgian classics. 67 moving up to the right-hand side, Rigoberto Urán for an EF team that has already started to cause that little bit of chaos. There's Florian Lipowitz at the front, the German rider for Bora Hansgrohe. There's a rider in the mix there in the fluorescent yellow jersey of Bingo. And the pattern that had been established before, just one rider riding for UAE Team Emirates, who was Vegard Starkelongen. His day job, does it every race he races in, just controls a breakaway. That has been upset now. What's the attitude, what's the feeling in the peloton like when that happens and it's unexpected?
I think a lot of riders will be up for it because it makes the racing go a little bit quicker as well, to be honest with you. Otherwise it can be quite, I wouldn't say dull, you're just ticking over the kilometres, and it wakes you up because what you've got to remember is this is a bike race, and earlier and we're seeing things open up a lot earlier than previous years. I think the key word, or the buzzword in pro cycling now amongst commentators, amongst journalists, pundits or whatever, people who speak and write about the sport is anticipating. And when you think about the definition of the word anticipate, if somebody else anticipates, well, to anticipate their anticipation, you've got to anticipate it. You've got to go earlier and earlier. So that's why we're seeing the racing open up so early. It's a
self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? I think this is Urán at the front now, by the way.
Exactly. So it's all about, getting your hand in early. Racing is getting faster and faster because races are opening up earlier. Because if you want to win bike races in this modern era, you've got to think differently. You need your riders to be on it, of course you do. But it's about intelligence as well.